Today I'm doing a review and try-on of the Give It To Me Straight palette from Colourpop. This is a beautiful, sophisticated neutral palette that I think is going to take us right into fall and the holiday season. That's coming up next. For today's video, we're talking about the Give It To Me Straight palette from Colourpop. This is a beautiful, sophisticated neutral palette that I think is a great choice to take us into fall and the holiday season. I'll be offering some swatches, doing a little mini try-on, and talking about what my thoughts are on this offering from Colourpop. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you'd like to be, just go ahead and click that red subscribe button down below and make sure you hit the notification bell, and YouTube will give you a heads up when there's something new for you to watch. I recently ordered the Give It To Me Straight palette from Colourpop because it was such a beautiful neutral palette. I thought it was just gorgeous for the fall and upcoming holiday season. Got it in just recently and I'm really excited about this colorway. I think it's a beautiful neutral palette with some pops of color that will make it a nice festive alternative for the holiday season. Now when I look at this palette, this is a 12-pound palette. It reminds me a lot of the Sultry palette from Milani. Here we have the Milani and the Give It To Me Straight palette. I'm not saying they're dupes for each other, but what I think that they both do is they both offer a 12-pan, very sophisticated neutral palette. The Milani palette is a much cooler palette. It goes from very, very light into taupes into almost a black color. The Give It To Me Straight palette does neutrals in a very different way in that they're much warmer, much more festive in that it goes really down into burgundies and some plums down towards the bottom. So while I think that they're both a glorious offering of neutrals, they're a little bit different. If you're much more into cool neutrals, I think the Milani Sultry palette is really a good fit for you. If you're into warmer neutrals, then this Give It To Me Straight palette is just a glorious selection of 12 beautiful shades. They're both very affordably priced. The Milani comes in at $19.99 and you can pick it up at most drugstores. The Give It To Me Straight palette comes in with 12 colors as well and retails at $16 on the Colourpop website. I've worked with this palette a few times. I'm wearing it today and I'll go through that whole process a little bit later in the video. It's really classic Colourpop in that the colors are beautiful, the formulations are creamy, they blend in, they just blend like a dream. If you haven't used Colourpop before, it's such a great shadow formulation. The colors are saturated, they're creamy, they blend really well. Just a lovely, lovely, very affordable priced eyeshadow option. I ordered this palette because of the neutrals in it, and I'll have to say it's a little bit warmer than I thought it was going to be. Although I'm not sure that that's a problem. I do have the Milani Sultry palette, which is a cooler selection. This is a little bit warmer than a just strictly neutral palette. They've done a beautiful job of putting the colorway together for this palette. We start with our real soft colors up top. There's a great blendable creamy tone here. We go into a nice shimmer shade, and then on down the palette we've got some beautiful kind of almost rosy gold shades here. And then the fun part is, and where I think this could really go into a holiday look, is that we've got some nice plums at the very bottom, and I think those would be great for a holiday party, office party, that sort of thing. Just a lovely color selection. In the very top row, we start with Matter of Fact, which is almost a pinky, creamy, beautiful shade. It's just lovely, and it's a great shade to lay down a base with. Next, we have the creamy, almost champagne shimmer shade, and that is Up Front. Next, we have Straight Up, which is a bronzy shimmer shade. Just a real classic, beautiful color payout, deeper, richer bronzer, kind of almost a coppery tone. And then down here at the very bottom, we have BS. Honestly, you guys, I'm going to get a job naming makeup. And it's almost like a brick shade. It's a real deep, rich color. Really, really pretty. On the next row, we start out with Frank, and you can see it's a deep brown color, and it's a warm tone. No shimmer in that. It's a matte shade. Really, really pretty. Next is Candid, and you can see that this is almost a rose gold tone. I would say that that's as close to rose gold as comes in the palette. Really beautiful color combinations with Frank up above. Next, we have sort of a darker, It's almost a rose gold with a little bit of purple in it, and this color is Forthright. Nice shimmer shade. And down at the very bottom, we have a good shade. It's called Downright. And this is a great transition shade. It's a matte shade, and I think it would be lovely to lay down a darker transition color. In the last row, we start out with Truth Hurts, and this is a warm, sort of medium transition color. I'm actually using it on my eyes today, and I was surprised it was a little bit warmer when on the skin than it looks in the pan. The next color is just one of my favorites in the palette. It's called Be Blunt, and it's just this deep purpley tone with some shimmer in it. I think it would be glorious to use as a holiday makeup look. The next color is TMI, and it's a darker matte color. I think it's great for the outer accent of the eye. And then the very last color is called Actually, and this is almost a dark burnt umber brown. Really, really pretty. It's a matte shade, great for a strong defining look on the outside of the eye. So this is the look I put together today with this palette. I started out with Matter of Fact all over the entire lid, and I just used my little flat brush and worked that over the entire lid. Then for the crease color, I moved into Truth Hurts down here at the bottom, and it was really surprising to me. It blended so well. It was so beautiful. It was a little bit warmer than it looks in the pan, but I think it's really a pretty tone. Then to really accent the outer corner of the eye and the V, I went into TMI. This is a beautiful matte shade. Just lovely. Again, blends so beautifully. These shadow formulations just are so dreamy to work with. A little bit of TMI underneath just the very, very outside corner of my lower lashes. I don't wear mascara there much anymore, but I do like to define a little bit of color there. Then for the lid color, I went in with Up Front, and I actually just put that onto my finger and patted that over the lid area, almost to the outside corner. I did darken up again with TMI in that outside corner just to define the shape of the eye. Just a real easy, pretty eye look. I think this is great for work or just a casual day. It's just an easy, fun look. I think Colourpop has done it once again. They put together a really beautiful palette. I'm particularly liking this palette for me as a more mature woman in that the colors are very neutral, but yet they have just a little slight bit of twist. So it's not the same old browns that I have in so many of my palettes, which I do love, but every now and then I want to have a little bit of color or something a little bit different with my eye look, and I think they've done a beautiful job with this. There's a nice selection of mattes and shimmers. There's not a real sparkly shade in here, which for me, you know, with my taste, that's just kind of a throwaway shade. I can't really use all those sparklies. So for me, this is a very, very good selection of colors. They have 7 mattes and 5 shimmer shades. I think it's a beautiful combination of shades that are very wearable, lots of different looks that can come out with this, and I think it really can work all the way through fall into the holiday season and into spring. So many different choices with this palette. I'm loving the Give It To Me Straight Talk palette from Colourpop, and they've done it again. They really do put together such a beautiful eyeshadow palette. I've never been disappointed with Colourpop, and the real treat for me is actually working with the shadows. They're so smooth and so creamy and so much fun to work with. It feels almost like I'm painting or doing something creative like that when I'm working with the shadows. I'm not fighting with the formula. They go on beautifully, and they just seem to really spark the creativity. I hope you found that helpful. If you're casting around looking for a good palette that will take you through fall and into the holiday season, I can really recommend the Give It To Me Straight palette from Colourpop. It's beautiful. I'm loving to work with it, and I'm looking forward to putting together some more holiday looks as we get closer into December. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. You know, it just tickles me when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. If you'd like to find out more, make sure you stop by prettyoverfifty.com, where I've got beauty tips, makeup items, and a lot more for you to enjoy. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of the upcoming videos. I want to thank you again. It just tickles me when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. Again, I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk about everything makeup, skincare, and style for the over 50 woman. Make it a great day. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.